Welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada. Revo on pole from Horst Leclerc and Daf Sanchez. Then it's Arthur Catfish starting 4th from Ica World and Oscar Folstad. Xavier Kubica qualifies 7th ahead of Babnas Jr. and Tonali Gabo. Then it's the two Kuros of the Red Devil and Remy LeBeau, and a Champions Row with Marcus Nelson, Hugh Cable and Sebastian Ocampo. Ray Shen starts 15th from the first of the two runners in Pablo Sierra. Then it's Zach Wallace, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Bogdasarov, Scuttle and Rosart, Cosmas Rodicis and Verstio. Well, under the lights here in Nevada, Revo on pole, his major championship rival starts 19th. All 5 lights go on. And we are underway for the Las Vegas E3. Brilliant start from Horst Leclerc off the line, and he's already drawing level with Revo as they head through turn number 1. Revo still, however, ahead because he has the inside line. Sanchez might be able to follow through. Ica went up into 4th position, might try and help his teammate and get himself up into 3rd. He's going alongside Daf Sanchez as the Angolan driver. In fact, he's already up into 2nd. Ica World leads in Las Vegas, ahead of Revo, heading through turn number 5. Through this second part of the first sector, Revo still shuffling along with Ica, side by side, the 7 and the 8, and Revo takes back the race lead ahead of Ica World and Horst Leclerc. Catfish in 5th position now. He's about 20 points off of Revo in the championship with only 10 rounds to go, and this the longest season in ERL history and confirmed to be forever the longest season in ERL history, with a new race cap set at 18 races to be enforced from season 23 onwards. As Ica in the slipstream, you can see the rest of the field fanning out. Here comes the number 8, started in 5th, goes down the inside, side by side, and for Ica World and Trackhouse Mercedes, the 2-3 right now, much better than what the factory team is doing, especially considering that their team principal, Jack Carter, has stepped down ahead of this race, and into the wall has gone Oscar Folstad. Front wing damage you can see on that very shiny and reflective McLaren car. Of course, sponsored by Chrome, I believe, are they? No, they're not. They're not. Never mind. Ignore what I just said. They are looking to get sponsorship from Chrome. Scotland Rosak had a absolutely rapid start. He's up into 16th. His teammate down in 22nd and last. And the Cosmas, he's the only man yet to score any points. He's going to have to get off the mark somehow. He probably doesn't want to leave it until his team's home race. Nissan, however, semi-confirmed to be leaving the ERL after the season, and for the only Japanese manufacturer on the field, they supply no teams, and honestly, it's quite sad to see. It's not what any driver or team would like to see, seeing one of their competitors go down due to poor performance, but you know, I believe that they're the only team to not meet 50 points in the season, as here comes Ica, a man with over 50 points, side by side with Revo. Sanchez doing the same thing with Leclerc. Unlike Sanchez, however, Ica makes the pass. Ica World leads here in Las Vegas, and Leclerc all over the back of Revo. Can it be a Trackhouse 1-2 under the lights in Las Vegas? Ica with a fast flap. Leclerc down the inside at turn number 1. Brilliant move from the number 16, getting himself ahead of Revo. But for how much longer? Looking back with Leclerc with our brand new onboard cameras. Side by side they go. Attack mode wide open for both drivers, and I think Revo might have this because he's got the inside line. He's gaining on Ica as he's trying to keep himself ahead of Leclerc. He's just about got the move done, and they are 3 seconds ahead of Catfish. And that's the top 4. The top 4 pack have absolutely severed ties with 5th back. Only way they could get any hope of winning this race is on strategy, which can happen often here under the lights, but more likely some kind of virtual safety car, which does not happen very often here in Vegas. Side by side goes Ica World and Revo, and before he even gets attack mode, he's already drawing level, under 1/10 of a second the gap, and with attack mode, Revo leads in Las Vegas by just over 1/10 of a second. Fastest second sector goes to the Italian in front of the Angolan driver. They've pulled 2 seconds. Can Sanchez make the pass? He does, but you can see bits of graining happening on those softs. If you're watching this live, then you will not be able to see it due to YouTube's encoding systems. And already Sanchez up into second. He had a monster of a launch through that entirety of the final sector. Here comes Leclerc to get himself back up into third ahead of his teammate, and for Iker World, who at one point was leading this race, is back down to fourth. And for Tenali Gabo, who started this race in 9th, I believe, he's already up into 7th and on the back of Xavier Kubica and his own teammate. Sanchez with attack mode, as do the two Trackhouse drivers behind. They're really closing in. And Mercedes just pointing this out as here comes Sanchez going side by side. Well, honestly, as you can still see, I was going to make a point about Mercedes, but I can't, because look at the fighting that's happening for the race lead between Revo and Sanchez. Sanchez still with him, still closing in. He's going to get another dosage of attack mode. He's 2 tenths off, so the sensors won't detect that both drivers should get it. In terms of fairness, they're going to go side by side. And even with those absolutely shot softs, here comes Sanchez. There goes Sanchez. He will be leading here in Vegas, ahead of Leclerc possibly. Look at Leclerc getting past Revo, and in fact, into the lead of the race if he can just get it stopped a few meters later. But he'll have to settle for second right now, as Revo looking for a way to get up into second. Or is he pitting? Into the pits comes Revo. First man to stop at the end of lap 4. Medium tyres going on. They're going to be monitoring Remy LeBeau, Ray Shen, Bogdasarov, Versio, and Cosmas Medisa to see how their mediums go. But in terms of Revo, he's going to be the first man to stop, as Ocampo, he looks like a man on a mission. He's up into 9th position. If he can just hold on, and he wasn't able to, that's Nelson back up into 9th. And just a note on Mercedes, as we're watching Ocampo fight with his fellow champion. Mercedes this season, they haven't really looked that strong. Yes, they got the win in Valencia, but that seems to be more of a fluke, an exception and not the rule, sadly, for one of the most successful teams in the ERL's history. If you'll remember their rampage between seasons 2 and 5. And, you know, before season 19, whenever you saw Mercedes on the grid, you knew that they were going to have something special. But here, for the first time, they're being outclassed by fellow teams, especially Trackhouse for guys 2nd and 3rd. Speaking of, this is the fight for the lead still. Leclerc, Iker, and the man who currently leads this race, Gaf Sanchez, and Iker World, drops off the back 37% tyre wear. So maybe Revo's move was the right one, as that move from Leclerc was the only one he could do to take the lead. Sanchez, however, getting a very good slingshot opportunity. He's going alongside him. He's going to have to be using ERS, and he does use attack charge rather, as he now heads into the pits. Leclerc follows him in. Iker stays out. Lap 6 of 12 as Catfish follows them in. Revo came out of the pits in 20th position. In fact, we've got an entire horde of drivers coming in. The last man out of the pits should be the first man out of the pits should be Leclerc. Where is Revo? In fact, no, he's still behind Sanchez. Revo's ahead of these two. Leclerc is onto another set of softs. Remember, in the ERL, you are allowed to finish a race on the same compound of tyre, and more than that, you are also allowed to only use one tyre compound throughout the entire race. Considering that Remy LeBeau pitted at lap 6, Revo pitted on lap 4, he's going to have to try and do 8 laps on these mediums. He's going to have to hope that someone like Versio or Bogdasarov can do that, but they're on 42% tyre wear. It's not looking pretty if you're a Revo fan right now. It is looking a little bit prettier if you're a Catfish fan, and probably a lot more pretty if you're a Xavier Kubica fan, because he's on the hard tyres. Hard tyres that since about Warsaw, Kubica's home race, they've seemed to perform a lot better than expected. Iker is 7 seconds ahead of this man, Tenali Gabo, who's going to have to defend from the Red Devil, who has attack mode. But how well can the Sims Porsche man defend? Quite a lot, considering that they've got the same powertrain behind him. As there goes the Red Devil up into second. If he can keep his wheels spinning alongside Gabo, we should expect Iker into the pits, and he'll have the best tyres of all the drivers who are gunning for the race lead. As side by side they go, both into the pits, and that's a close pit entry. Race leader is now Versio. He will be leading his first laps in the ERL. Zach Wallace managed yet to take his first race win. Full course yellow! The Red Devil is out! The Red Devil out of the race! Where's that happened? Did he pit? Did he hit the pit wall or something? I don't know. You saw Ocampo weaving quite a bit. The full course yellows will be ending soon. And for this man, Revo, 5 laps to go. He's got Vestia right in front of him. He's hoping that the Brazilian driver in the 38 can at least go to lap 8. Because if he can't go to lap 8, then Revo won't be able to make it to lap 12. Here comes the 3-time World Drivers' Champion alongside Vestia. Revo takes the lead in Las Vegas ahead of the Mercedes driver. And I'm a big fan of these new onboard cameras looking behind with the rest of the pack because you can see oh so much more. It's also going to make intros a lot easier to do. But on board with Pablo, as he's trying to close in, you can see Catfish closing in, going alongside Pierre Gasly, who might have front wing damage. He doesn't have front wing damage. Ignore me, guys. Remy LeBeau with the fastest second sector. He's in 12th position on the soft compound tyres. As Vestia going alongside Lawless Clerk. And unfortunately for Revo, he's had to see the Brazilian peel into pit road. 24% tyre wear. As Ray Shen also coming in for their first and only stops. That's a medium strategy. Would have expected them to go onto a set of soft tyres, but of course if this man had to come in for softs, to get off of the softs on lap 4, then imagine what it's going to have to be for other drivers. 65% tyre wear for the DS driver. He's got 4 more laps to do. It's rough. He's having to try and get it down to about 10% per lap so we can end this race on 20%, because if you're in the teens in terms of your tyre percentage, that's not safe at all, especially if you're in single digits. You can't end this race on 0 when it comes to the monitoring, because that's when you've effectively run out of tread. That's when your tyres are about to puncture. Sanchez and Iker, they've dropped an awful lot off the back of the race lead. Catfish is actually now up into 4th. And Leclerc on the famous Las Vegas strip. He's closing in. He's closing in. He's got attack mode. He's pulling to the inside. He loves this move so much. Into the race lead goes Lawless Leclerc ahead of Revo. Brilliant move made by the Monegasque Brit. He goes by both nationalities, but we have to select one, and I'm pretty sure we selected Monegasque for the ERL so far. 3 laps to go. And Revo now, it's his move in this magnificent duel in the desert under the lights. And Sierra comes in for his first stop. Hard tyres are at 36-ish%. Gabo fighting with U-Cable. The only guys who are going to be able to do the one stop are the guys on the hards. As Kubica having to defend from Ocampo, and a full course yellow to Nally Gabo out of the race. And he's on the wall. Oh dear, not at all pleasant for the Sims Porsche driver whose teammate up in 5th really needs him, and with rumours swirling about Gabo's future, well, it's not at all enviable, not in the slightest. Full course yellow is ending, and Leclerc still leading. We get back underway. Revo shouldn't have attack mode here, so he's having to dump all of his attack charge on that straight. You can see batteries is the only thing that he can use. The red light on the left-hand side is not flashing, so he's not able to use attack mode. He's still going to pull to the inside, though, using all of his attack charge, however, and he's charging his way alongside Leclerc. Side by side, they go down the hill. And in terms of tyre wear, 47 versus 46, Leclerc's are doing worse than Revo's. One of them's going to have to pull the trigger in terms of pitting first, as we've got 2 laps to go. In fact, oh, that's Sanchez! That's Sanchez out of the E3! Full course yellow once again, and the crowd roars. On board with Catfish and the 2, Wallace takes this opportunity to pit in the 52, 27% tire wear. Gasly also into the pits for his first stop. Almost looked like he added a little bit of damage, but no. Once again, Sierra's at the back of the pack, and as for Cosmas Medicis, if he gets 3 more retirements from drivers at the front of the pack, he could be scoring his first points on the season, his first points in the ERL since season 12. And of course, he hasn't been driving since season 12, but still, it's quite the unenviable record to have. Most races in a row without points. Wow. Revo, he's a second off of Leclerc. He's struggling with those mediums. 39%. What are Leclerc's softs doing? 35%. So Revo has more life in those tires. He's got one more lap in them. It's not exactly going to be a pleasurable lap if he does opt to take it. I don't think that the top 2 are going to be able to stay out for too much longer. And in fact, Revo's lost 4 seconds going down the straight. Ica is closing in. Is this Ica World's day to win in season number 22? What is Leclerc doing? Is he staying out? He is staying out. What is Revo doing? He's staying out on the penultimate lap too. Ica World might have an open goal for a race win here. Ocampo drops behind Xavier Kubica on the same lap his teammate crashed out on. Bogdasarov having to try and attack his countryman. Cosmas Medicis is up into 12th position. Considering that the race leaders don't have the tyres to make it to the end, this could be Cosmas getting his first points for the season. In fact, that's Babinus Jr. getting ahead of Verstio for now. But who knows how this race is going to end with only a lap and a half to go. Leclerc and Revo are struggling out there. 30% for Revo. I don't think they're going to make it to the end. There's no way that Revo is going to make it to the end. There's no way that Leclerc's making it to the end. He's on 24%. It's going to be close for the top 2. Ica World might be in prime position to win here in Vegas. And for Catfish, he's on 39%. Unfortunately for him, he's 10 seconds off the race lead as well. He cannot benefit. But Xavier Kubica surely can. Here comes the Polish driver, and he has to slip into the slipstream to let his Brazilian comrade go by him. 5th position for Verstio. Attack mode for the Mercedes man. He's closing in. Ica's closing in. Down the inside for Ica World. Into 2nd position. Trackhouse 1-2. This is amazing! This is the most amazing racing we've seen in all of my time commentating in the ERL. This is the best Vegas race of all time. As we're on to the final lap here in Las Vegas, Verstio up into 4th position ahead of Catfish. And once again I say this, his championship aspirations for the Malaysian driver unraveling at the seams. It's going to be another day where it surely could have and surely should have been better. A comment on Cosmas Medicis in the 21. He's dropped to 15th and he's got no prospect of scoring points today. Revo's on 20% and he should be able to make it to the end. Leclerc is struggling on his softs. He might not make it. Ica's going to be right on him when it comes to the famous Las Vegas strip. Revo should be safe for the podium because Verstio and Catfish, they are 6 seconds away. The 2 Trackhouse men side by side. Ica World takes the lead. Brilliant stuff on the Angolan. He's just about managed to do it on track. Leclerc, he's got attack mode. He's not using it. He doesn't have it. His teammate has it. Leclerc tried to pull out, but he couldn't do it. The 8 is going to win in Vegas. And it's going to be the closest finish in Vegas as well, unless Leclerc drops off the back. And for Ica World, he will do it. His team's first 1-2 finish since they were rebranded as Trackhouse Racing. And rounding the final corner, Ica World wins in Vegas. Leclerc comes across the line in 2nd, Revo 3rd, and my oh my was it close for him. Verstio gets a career best finish of 4th, ignoring the Valencia disaster. Then it's Catfish, Kubica, Ocampo, Bogdasarov in yellows already. That is Nelson into the wall. Pierre Gasly with the fastest lap. In 14th position, as Scuttle and Rotak rounding the final corner now. Those final few laps were absolutely nerve-wracking. Surely not just for me, but for the teams and drivers as well. But this is the podium. A 1-2 finish for Trackhouse Mercedes. Ica World wins from his teammate Lance Leclerc and 3-time World Drivers' Champion Revo. Then it's Versio, Catfish, Kubica, Ocampo, Bogdasarov, Babinas Jr., Zach Wallace, the point scorers. Your non-scorers being UK Ball, Ray Shen, Marcus Nelson at 13, finished at 13th. Then Pierre Gasly, Remy LeBeau, Cosmas Medicis, Oscar Falstad, Pablo Sierra, and Scuttle and Rossack, with the non-finishers being Daf Sanchez, Tenali Gabo, and the Red Devil. The driver standings look like this. Revo streaks ahead on 133 points from Bogdasarov on 114, then it's Ocampo, Nelson, Catfish finally breaking the 100-point barrier. Then it's Leclerc, teammate Ica, and Daf Sanchez. Outside of the top 8, you've got Ray Shen, Remy LeBeau versus Theo, Babinas Jr., Xavier Kubica, Pierre Gasly, Tenali Gabo, Zach Wallace. The Red Devil UK Ball, the reigning champion, is down in 18th. Then it's Pablo Sierra, Oscar Falstad, Scuttle and Rossack, and the only non-scorer so far, Cosmas Medicis. In the constructors' standings, heading into the 14th round of the championship, DS Cheetah leads the way on 237 points from Trackhouse Mercedes on 187 points. That's 1 point more than DS Andretti. Then it's Sims Porsche. Their brilliant start to the season has seemingly fizzled out as they're now only 1 point ahead of Team Edam's Renault. Then it's DS Venturi Formula E team, Mercedes EQ, Kiro Porsche, Paolo Renault, Mercedes McLaren Mercedes, and Nissan Nismo. After that race in Vegas, well, you'd expect me to take a quick break, but no, we're only just starting in the second half of the ERL Formula E Series. We will see you guys next time then for the 14th E3 on BDS Formula 1 Motorsports.